It was very small, but it meant so much to me. We were at Fashion Week, and it was my first Fashion Week, and I'm standing in the room at the basement of Sergio Hudson's show, and like everybody's like, Kandi, everybody take pictures, and they're like, nobody's like, Crystal, let's take a picture, and you're like, Crystal, come on. And it was just that moment of being seen in a room where God, here it comes again. I'm not gonna cry today. You're not gonna do this to me. It's a moment of like being seen in a room where you feel invisible. And in that moment you saw me, and I think that was just a small glimpse of me being able to see your heart and who you are. And I was like, and I thanked you them. I was like, thank you so much, because you didn't have to do that. And you're like, no, you're welcome. But it was so sweet. I was like, it may have been small to you, but it was really big to me.
After hearing Crystal say that, I had to share my own moment, which is probably little to most people, but was big to me. So anybody that knows me, they know I love me some Kandi, okay? I have been since the Escape days before she was on Housewives and, you know, and all of that stuff. She was always my favorite. So I love her. She's literally like my big sister in my head, okay? So I went to the Escape and SWV The Queens tour back in summer 2024. It was my birthday. It was August, and I went to see them in New York because I wanted to see them on my actual birthday. I was in the front row, and it had been a terrible day, mind you. It was just so, you know how you have one of those days where everything that could go wrong goes wrong. So anyway, once I got to the back to the meet and greet, I was so excited. I was happy to see all of them, but of course, definitely Kandi. Tiny was very sweet too. But I told Kandi, I was like, I'm so happy to meet you. I said, you are literally like my big sister. I said, everybody knows how much I love you. And I said, you probably don't know this. I said, but I'm always in your comments on Instagram. I said, shouting you out as my big sister and referring to your kids as my nieces and nephews. And she said, oh, for real? Oh, she said, what's your name on Instagram? So I told her, and then she said, what is it? So I told her again. And in my mind, I'm like, she not going to remember this and she not going to see my comments. But it was just the fact that she even asked me my Instagram name. Like, that was sweet to me. And that may be small to some people. But when Crystal said that, it's the little things that kind of shows a person's heart. So just the fact that, I mean, she could have just been like, oh, and just continue to take the picture. But she was like, oh, what's your name on Instagram? The fact that she even cares. So I just wanted to share that really quickly, just my experience of seeing her heart. That is my big sister. Even like my sister knows, like I'm like, listen, that's our sister. That is my sister. Like, yeah. So, yeah, I just wanted to share that. Shout out to Kandi.